Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video with me, the Omega Enthusiast. This video will be about top 5 vintage watch brands under $500 that I recommend. This will be a new series and I hope that you guys will enjoy it very much. But before I begin, I just want to say that there will be more episodes like this since there are more than 5 brands that I would recommend that are under $500. But for this video, let us stick to the current 5. Let us get started with this episode. The first brand on this list will be a vintage Mido Multifort watch from the 1950s. My very first vintage watch was also a Mido Multifort. I wanted to own an Omega watch at the time, but I did not have the budget to afford one in great shape. My theory is never spend your hard-earned money on a poor condition luxury watch just because you wanted to own the brand. The restoration costs will be very expensive and you will probably not enjoy the watch as much over a short period of time. Spend your money towards something nice and within your budget, and you will not have buyer's remorse. A nice Mido Multifort in as-is condition will normally cost under $500. The Mido Multifort that I am referring to is usually between 33 to 35 millimeters in diameter, excluding the crown. It also takes a unique AS automatic movement made just for Mido under the caliber 917P. There are many variations of this caliber, but they are just as great. There are smaller size Mido Multifort models as well. If you decided to go with the mid-size model, I recommend selecting one with a caliber 916P instead of the bumper automatic caliber. Before I continue, do understand that I am not randomly selecting watch brands and recommending them to you. These are watch brands that I once owned and have worked on. The next brand on this list, in as-is condition, that normally costs under $500 is Teso. Teso, which is the sister brand of Omega, used to be very affordable. Unfortunately, a lot of the older models from the 1940s and 1950s are quite pricey nowadays, but many of the 1960s and 70s model are still under the $500 price range. Such as the C-Star, Visode, PR516, and other unsigned Teso models are excellent watches. Whether it is a manual wind or automatic movement, the quality of a Teso watch is always great. During the 1970s, Omega shared caliber with Teso. For example, Omega caliber 1010 is the same as Teso 290, and an Omega caliber 1481 is the same as a Teso 2481. This is why when someone cannot afford a nice Omega watch, I will recommend them to buy a Teso. The third brand in as-is condition that costs under $500 would be Eterna. Whether the Eterna is from the 1940s to the 1970s, majority will cost under $500, and there are many case and dials variation to select from as well. I have worked on several vintage Eterna watches in the past, and I must say, this is a very underrated watch brand. Eterna makes some very good quality movement. I know the movement are good since I enjoy working on them. Eterna from the 1940s throughout the 1950s are usually unsigned models. Once you enter the 1960s and 70s, there are the eterna-matic, eterna-matic 2000, and the centenary model. The difference between an Eterna and eterna-matic is the movement type. Matic, of course, is referring to automatic movement. That is how you differentiate the automatic and manual wind models apart. Unfortunately, the Eterna Continki models will cost more than $500. Fourth on the list in as-is condition will be a vintage Zenit watch. I know, right? Quite a surprise to see Zenit in this video. But there are quite a few nice Zenit out there which you can pay for under $500 in as-is condition. In case you guys are unsure what I mean by as-is condition, as-is means you are buying the watch untouched and have not been recently serviced. So at the very least, make sure you are buying one in great as-is condition. Zenit is a very old brand with a great reputation for their quality watches. The first wristwatch was first introduced in the 1920s. You cannot go wrong owning a Zenit watch. I once used to work on many Zenit watches and even offer them for sale on my site. Working on a Zenit movement is similar to working on an Omega movement. I see quality and it is fun to work on. I am a watch nerd after all. Fun fact, did you know that a vintage Rolex Daytona used to house with a Zenit movement? These Daytona were sometimes referred to as Zenit Daytona. Last but not least, number 5 on this list will be an US brand vintage watch by the name Greuen. I selected this brand for a reason, and that is if you are someone who is looking for asymmetric, odd-looking, unique, rectangular, square, or Art Deco design watches. Greuen makes them all. This is a company found in 1894 and have been making watches as early as 1903. So you can imagine the vast variety of watches that you can find from this brand. For their round and fancy case design, majority will be under their veri-thin and precision model. Automatic Greuen are usually referred to as auto wind on their dial. Manual wind models will not say auto wind on their dials. There are a few popular vintage Greuen models, and one of them, which is affordable, would be their Curvex model. Just make sure to avoid their 48 to 52 millimeter long Curvex model, as they are very expensive. That's the end of this video. I hope you guys have learned a ton as always when watching my video. Let me know in the comment section below if you own one of these brands. Each video takes up a long time to create, so your support is highly appreciated. If you have any question regarding this video, let me know in the comment section below. Please support the channel on my Patreon account and make sure to hit on that thumbs up button below, and do not forget to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram along with my 90,000 plus followers. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video.